everyone, John Alexander Concepcion with Apartment Locating Mastery. In this video, I'm going to show you a little bit about how you make money in apartment locating. So the database you see me pulling up here is called Smart Apartment Data. It's the main database that apartment locators use to see which buildings are out there on the market, how much commission they pay, and it helps us do research for our clients. So what you see here, I just did a quick rectangle for a piece of the market in Houston just to see which buildings there are in this one neighborhood. It shows you basic details, the apartment's name, some specials, and some basic information here. A lot of this information is kind of outdated, at least when it comes to this rent amount, these specials. So I don't pay too much attention to that. What I do care about is around what these numbers here look like on this rent in square feet column. That gives you a basic idea of where prices start at these buildings. But the more important column for this video is the send and escort column. The numbers you see here are the bounty apartments are advertising what they're paying to apartment locators. So what you see here with this building, the Hayworth, is they are paying 150% commission, which is amazing for us apartment locators, because what this means, if you have a client that leases a unit here, then they're going to pay you 1.5 months worth of rent. I already went to their website just to see an example. Here's one of their 2-bedroom apartments that's going for $29.26 a month, which means if your client leases this unit at this building, they're going to pay you almost $4,400 when your client moves in. And again, that's no paperwork, no contract negotiations, there's no financing, there's none of that. You bring a client and they sign a lease and they move in, that means the building is going to pay you that much money. When it comes to what are these two columns here? You see send here and escort there. Sending a client means you do not join the client at the apartment tour, which means you could just communicate digitally, have phone calls and text messages and emails, and you tell the client, hey, go here to that building, go check it out, and then they tour without you being there, which is an amazing thing, because if your client goes to that building and they give the building your name and they sign in and they move in, all that stuff, you're going to make that money without actually having to be there as part of the tour. And then you have this other column, escort. Escorting means that you were physically there with your client when they tour the building. A lot of buildings have a policy where they don't care if you're there or not. They want people to move in, and they're totally fine with you sending your client there. But some buildings have different policies. As I scroll down here, what you see is generally you'll see the same amount for sending and escorting. And then the lower we go in the database, the lower these numbers change. Some buildings, instead of doing a percent of the month's rent, do a flat fee. So here at the Carlton, if you have a client move in, it's not going to matter what the rent is. They'll just pay a flat $500 fee. Same thing with all these other buildings here. Here's an example of a building called Dominion Post Oak, which means they won't pay anything when you send a client. You have to be there escorting the client to get credit. That's a rough idea to explain how much money you can make as an apartment locator. When you look at each of these buildings, each of these probably has 200 to 300, sometimes more units, which means there's hundreds of opportunities to put people in these buildings and make money on these commissions. You're working with a big supply in a way that's you don't really have the same kind of supply when you do with houses. That should give you a brief glimpse into how much money you can make in apartment locating. If you found it useful, I made a brief course about apartment locating and how it works. That's in the description. It's free. It just explains more about how the business works. So check it out in the description below. And I hope you found this video useful. See ya.